I wanted to do consulting for occultists for a long time now. I didn't want to rush it though. I finally opened up to it fully when my wife and we started a cult corner store. I put a lot of time and energy into what I was offering. Then, when I challenged myself, about a year later, maybe a few more months than that, I found it wanting, lacking. So I destroyed it and began what I'm doing now today. I stewed over this one for even longer than I did the first. Months on end, testing every angle I could challenge, and being honest with myself. Admitting to the many things I had failed to consider, even among everything that I did consider. I saw even though what I had made before didn't appear to be the same as everything else, that its structure was dangerously typical. See, I needed this to be more than an unorganized pick my brain session. I owed that to myself even more than to my clients. I put more work into my structure. Tried to put myself in the shoes of someone who would give me money for this. What they needed. What I needed when I was dealing with their hurdle in myself. How to make sure I could give a little more than just my time. Now please, let me be clear. My goal here is not to affirm you. I would expect you can do that for yourself. There are plenty of places you can go to be affirmed. You can create groups if you want to. This work is about the self. And the self you think you are will not be affirmed by this. In the end, after rebuilding my methods, I created Corporeal Chaos Consulting. Part of being a chaos being is the being. Being isn't simply just saying, I'm everything. Chaos isn't simply disorganization. That's the apparent side. Just like how below the apparent solid structure of the physical world, there are chaotic potentials. Within the chaos, behind its veil of disorder, are underlying patterns, repetition, self-similarity, and fractals. Where we find ourselves is somewhat in the details of the metaphysical truths. We have to work through those details so that we can live as the principles. Now, when I started out lecturing on the metaphysics on my whiteboards, I had a goal in mind. This is when I was doing my first video, way back. If I don't know what I'm doing now, it's sure as hell I didn't know what I was doing then. But I did have a goal in mind, like I said. I wanted to create a language for discussing and conceptualizing the self. But not just the self, divinity, and the connection between the two. And I still hold that desired ends. But with this consulting project, I want to re-inject the self-deification back into the left-hand path. No matter how leftish one may find themselves to be, not quite left-hand path, or how advanced even. Bringing knowledge of self back from the metaphysics and igniting self-deification into it. Burning away dead wood and bringing heaven to earth. Being on a left-hand path presses against all compulsions of convention, tradition, and morality. Not to appear spooky to others or be alternative for the sake of rebellion. That appearance is an effect of actually challenging your agreement and conception of convention and ritual. There are a lot, like I've said before, that come here to be dead. If you're not coming here to be dead, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to those who have. Of course they're dead. Of course what you're doing seems extravagant and extraordinary, but it's not. You're not cut from the same cloth. There's no sense in determining the measure by which you're better than them. It's a different cloth, it's a different league. You don't compare nobody to Michael Jackson. Why? He's got his own league. He's got his own tier. This isn't something that you can take and make sure you let a nigga know. Like, not here for that. I mean, unless, of course, you guys want to go back and forth and spar a little bit on your information. That's wonderful. You know, just because you're learning Kung Fu don't mean you got to whoop a nigga's ass to practice your shit. Sparring is healthy. But if you're scared to spar, I'll be damned if you're going to advance in your martial art. In the world, but not of it, right? It's one thing to say you're never coming back to the physical world. It's quite another thing to do it. There's no way you can break all the rules if you don't know all the rules. Here. The trick of escaping the physical world is realizing you're never here. You only appear to be. The devil's in the details. And if you don't know how you won,